CarolJo's is an online jewelry and accessory business for women. We do lots of things here, and I will get into all of that as soon as TikTok lets everybody know that we are live, and also YouTube know that we are live. I'm on live today on 2 different social medias. We have over here, we have YouTube. Over here, we have TikTok. So we will be having both of you here today. I am going to bring up my backup account so I can see comments easier on TikTok. So just let me get that pulled up. And then I do not have a backup of YouTube, so I have to just read what we have. Hi, Kelly. How are you? How's it going with school starting? All right. I also want to pull up our quote of the week. I did have a good weekend. I had some great time off. Yep, and I was going to say, I woke up and I started going. We practiced this morning getting up for school because our first day of school is tomorrow. And with that, I wanted to see how much time we needed to allot for it and all that kind of stuff. So I got up. I have been doing laundry. I have been creating videos already today. I have got everything ready to go to the post office from over the last weekend. And I was able to create a new way to let you guys know when I'm going live. So I've been busy. And I finished my tutorial example from Wednesday, and I didn't even bring it up here. It is downstairs still because I did it in the living room. Hold on. I'm going to grab that so I can show you guys. Then we're going to get started here. So give me a moment. Hey, please share and do the likes on TikTok so we get shared out, please. Oh, that's why I was like, I'm missing one. I'm like, I don't remember eating it. Okay. All right. I'm back in my bead room now. All right. So here at CarolJo's, hi, Rosie. We do lots of things. We do, like we're going to do today, a chat twice a week, I mean. Just so happens, with the way we've got the schedule this week, we're having the chat this morning here for our daytime one. And I'm going to have what I'm calling a discussion chat tonight at 8 p.m. That 8 p.m. Chat, I think would be a great one for anyone to join. It doesn't matter if you have a small business or not. I want to talk about in that one, and I put it at night so that if those that were working won't miss out on it. We are going to be talking about that good old yucky words of frauds and scams that go around. Hi, Teresa. There are so many of them right now that I wanted to talk about how it can affect you personally from your business, and all of that, and how to watch out for those. And I don't know everything about it, but it has been a background of mine for a while. And part of what we were doing over the weekend with strategic planning is you had to do strategic planning around fraud and what our thoughts are and how much energy is it going to take for a business. Because that does take energy away from your day-to-day things. You have to stop and pause when that happens. So I would love to talk about that, and that will be tonight. We also do 2 tutorials a week, and this week, both of our tutorials fall on Wednesday. I don't know why I made the schedule that way, that we had the chats on one day and our tutorials on another, and didn't crisscross them a little bit, but it is what it is. This week, I already have the daytime tutorial completed. It is a flower wristlet. So what we're doing is you know how we've been doing the wristlets and with the silicone beads? We are adding a lentil flower with a center bead. The center bead can be lots of different things. It could be a hexagon. It could be a silicone printed bead. It could be 15 millimeter silicone. If you have 19 millimeter silicones, I don't sell those right now, but if you had them, you could put that in there. You could do a 16 millimeter acrylic, or like in this example, that is a 20 millimeter acrylic. But we're going to show you how you can make this. And that will be Wednesday's daytime tutorial. I will have, hopefully by tonight, I will have the Wednesday night tutorial, which is called Simply Classic. And so we'll be bringing that one in. Hopefully I can show the example tonight. If not, it will be tomorrow to show you that example. We do sales here. We have sales that are basket sales. We have one of those this week. We have 2 silicone sales. Those are both during the day. So the basket and the 2 silicone are during the day. And then tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we're going to have a smaller, shorter bead sale. So it's going to be usually under 25 items will be that one. And then Friday night's bead sale will be a longer one. We start that one at 7 and we do a few more items. I am not going live for the next few weeks on Thursday nights, and that is due to Buttercup's volleyball schedule is we have practice on Thursday nights. So we're going to be taking Thursday nights off for a little bit, everybody, because of her schedule. Thank you, Tina, for the follow. Also, we will have to adjust our Saturday time frames and not start at 10 a.m. like we always do. And it's because Buttercup has volleyball games in the mornings. And so I will probably be starting when she has the games at 11. And so this Saturday she does have a game and so we will be starting at 11 a.m. and we're going to have charms. I got in last week a lot of new charms. We have 3 for sure what I would consider Halloween charms. And then we have one that reminds me of Halloween. So I'm including that one in there right away at the beginning. So right away at 11, if you guys want Halloween charms, I have not gotten in any more of the state charms yet. I had gotten these and then I wanted to put those out there, and then I will order state charms for September or October, just to let you know. The state charms, I have to order a lot of them at one time. So I just got to make sure I'm getting the right states. So, but we have those 4 Halloween right away, and then we'll go through all the other new ones that I have gotten in from another company. Like when we order the state charms, they are the most expensive one. Okay, that would be awesome. They are the most expensive ones for me to order. My husband just sent me a text I have to reply to. I'm going to do it on my tablet here. Sorry, everybody. The poor man had a toothache all weekend, and he got into the dentist right away, and they're telling him it has to go. So I got to find out when he's going to. Because that makes up my night of like, what are we doing tonight if it comes out today? Hi, Lucky Charms. So, sorry, just had to pause for a moment. Family, if you guys know me, family's first. Hi, Nobi. And so that is what we've got planned for our schedule for this week. And thank you all. As you know, we're having to change up the schedule because once again, family first. And school is starting, so I will have more time devoted because I won't have Buttercup here with me as much as she is in the summer. So hopefully I can stay on track and get ahead of schedule. That's the goal. Cross everything for that. So that is what we have going on for the week. What we have going on for today, it is today is our chat time. First one of the day. And so what we want to do here is talk about the quote that I picked out for this week. Oh, yes. And that is one thing that through everything that we've been going through with Buttercup and her coming to live with us, it's really opened your eyes about how you make sure you put family first. This quote for this week, the quote is, do one thing every day that scares you. And I know when you hear that, you're like, you just freeze up. You're like, I don't want to do something that scares me. This quote is from Eleanor Roosevelt. And the one thing reason why I say do one thing that scares you. It makes you stop and think. But I want you to not always think about the thing that scares you. I want you to go a step further. Thank you, Lindsay, for the follow, into why I picked the quote. And we've been having quotes that for motivational lately about getting started. So for the last few weeks, we've been talking about different things to make you start. You know, some of it is just create something, you know, and sometimes you don't start something because you're scared to do it. You put the thoughts in your head that it's too hard, that I don't have enough time. So I'm going to tell you guys how this came about and my whole entire process through it. So I sat there and thought about, what can I teach that is different than we've done on silicones, but something that's cute? And I know that sounds really weird. We had a great time last week, I think, with the balloon animals. And then we took it and went a step further while we were on the live and talked about how you could change things up to make it different and make different animals and that type of thing. And we've been talking about that, you know, all last week, I'm trying to think of different animals to do. You guys helped out with that while we were talking, and I loved it. Thank you, Rain and Rainbow Creations, for the follow. Also, thank you, Crochet by Auntie. Hi, Kelly. Happy Monday to you, too. But when it came to, I didn't want to do another balloon animal, and I was like, what could I do? And all weekend, I sat about and thought about it, and I had this thought about, what if I combine two different things to make something what I consider this cute. When I picked out these colors and how they all went together, I just love it. But what this is it's a breakdown of, this is a flower keychain that's made with lentil beads and then a center bead. You get to, like we talked about earlier, you can pick out different shapes, different sizes. It just means you have to adjust the lentils. That's easy. But I was like, I want it to be on the wristlet. So here we have a wristlet, and I didn't make my wristlet like with prints and all that kind of stuff. You can do that, but I wanted this to be my centerpiece, and that's why I took a step back and didn't make my wristlet like pow. I sat on the couch last night with this idea after I'd already posted our schedule, because I posted the schedule. This is what my one thing yesterday that was scary, is I posted that schedule without knowing how I was going to teach this. The reason why, thank you, Sherry, for the follow, that I did do that is because if I would have done something else than this week, I would have kept putting off my thoughts of this being, you know, like a neat idea. So, and it was so funny because as I was posting my schedule, the Canva is what I use to put my schedule into to create the video, okay? Just to be honest, that's the tool I use to create my video, to be able to have the schedule out there. It doesn't have the music, it's just creating the video of my information. There's a reason why we do it as a video, and I'll explain that in a minute. But it was funny because that quote came up, because Canva gives you a quote at the bottom when you're downloading to go post it. And I'm like, I did do something scary today, because I just said I was going to do something that I don't know if I've got it all down. I have this idea in my head because we're creative individuals. We have all these ideas. And I'm like, do I have to backtrack? And I'm like, no, I did my scary thing. Now I got to follow through. I sat on the couch last night for about 3 hours. In all honesty, I did for 3 hours trying to get this to work, coming up with different ways to put it together. And I just didn't like any of those. And I put it together part way last night and I go, I know there's a way to do this. I'm going to put it down because I've worked on it for hours now. And I'm going to get up tomorrow morning and I am going to finish it. Now, my scary thing that I could have done for today was this, to finish it. Because I could have put that off for tomorrow or Wednesday and just shown it to you quick before the live. And I'm taking this quote to heart because how many times have I said to you guys, I don't have the examples done yet. And it's because for me, doing the examples, even if it's something I know, is scary to me. Because are you going to like what you see? You're going to want to join. I have every excuse going on in the head about it to put it off. And once I saw this quote, I'm like, I am not doing that again. I am just going to do it. So after I got done doing the post, getting all my packages ready for the post office, after I got Buttercup up so that she could get ready and we could time out how long it's going to take her to get ready for school on the bus. I sat down and I did this before I went down my to-do list for the week. This was my scary thing of the day to finish that. Is it scary at the end of the day? No, but I prioritized it and made sure I did it. Thank you for sharing out the live, everybody. And thank you for the heart me, Kelly, and all of the hi friends. So that is why I really wanted to take this and make it the quote, talk about why I made it the quote. And then I have a question for you guys to start off our discussion if you guys want. Thank you, Sweetheart Strings, for the heart me's. Thank you, Michelle, for the heart me. And that is, what is your scary thing that is stopping you? Is there something that we can do to help cheer you on and to uplift you so that you do your scary thing? What do you need from our entire community to do that thing that you're putting off? And it's okay. This is a safe space, everybody. It's a safe space for you to be able to talk about it. Nobody is judging. Nobody is making negative comments. I even went so far as when I did my pre-video video thing or pre-live video that I do, I put in there that we're going to stay on topic. I didn't put in there that it's a positive space, but I want people to understand and know this is a space for us to uplift each other. So if you guys have that thought or idea of, I haven't started this, and you can tell us why if you feel comfortable, please put those in the chat. Because I can tell you, I've had this idea in my head since Friday. Did I sit down on Saturday after I got home from my conference and decide what to do? No, I put it off. Sweetheart Strings is always scared to price things. For me, I will tell you that pricing is one of the hardest things because you think, did I price it too high? Did I price it too low? Am I going to make money? Did I get all my expenses included in it? And for Angela, the problem is having so many projects that I get overwhelmed just trying to pick one. And so, I'm going to go to Sweetheart Strings, the first one that she had. She put in about pricing, and that is something that is extremely hard. I have finally gotten to a place where for my pricing for when I sell beads, I have a spreadsheet that takes that all into consideration. And I would say 95% of the time, I go off of what the spreadsheet says. I don't go and change it up. The reason being is that there is an equation to make sure I'm at my profit margins for my entire business. It took me a while to get that spreadsheet made, but I put it in there. I don't do a lot with about pricing jewelry anymore because I don't sell it as much as I used to. But that's something I can take away and we can have it on a future chat. How does that sound? It's, to me, that is a good topic for us to discuss in a chat. Or not in a chat, I meant in a tutorial. Because that one will take up like the whole hour. What do you guys think? Okay, I will write that down. I moved my paper. I saw it yesterday after I moved it. Let me write that down. Okay. All right. Got it down. Okay. We'll try to have it in the next week or two, okay? The next one that Angela has is about just picking one. And in my IT days, when I was doing IT and being able to pick which way to go, that we would call, you guys are going to laugh. I got to move this. I just realized I'm sitting in the comments. Let me move that there. There we go. We called that analysis paralysis. And it's because you're analyzing so hard about the first thing that I should start with that you never start. And this is what I'll say to it. Put everything away, take everything off the table, and bring one thing out on the table. And don't analyze which one you're going to start with. Honestly, this is what I would say when you get into it. It goes back to, we were talking about the creativity. You don't create because you think. Don't think. Find the easiest thing for you to make that you don't have to think about. Grab that, start that one. Once you're done, you're on a high of, I did it. Grab something a little bit more difficult and just keep plucking away. And then you'll get there. It takes time because you do have a lot sitting on your plate. You know, when you have all these beads and you have all these ideas in your head and you're like, I can't get there. Literally, I would just grab one tray, find one bead that I liked in that tray, and I would start creating. And when I created jewelry, I never picked up after myself. So then I ended up having a second issue, and that was there was too much stuff on my table and I couldn't create because I didn't have any room. So I personally have had to learn to put things away after they're done. Some people need to know that and some don't. So when I first started, I'm just looking at Angela. Her other issue is I need to organize so I know where everything is. And that is, I would know my main staples, like your findings, your spacer beads, all of that. I used to just have everything in boxes and I would just grab one or two things. Yeah. And it's a word that we can use or a term that we can use, but you just have to start somewhere. Oh, no, Carrie, that video is still there. Would it help me if I would go find that, put it in our list out on YouTube so that you start it? Just let me know. So that's for Carrie. For Kelly, she says she wants to learn, or she loves to burn wood, and she's burned on hats, and she wants to do leather journals. Yep, I'll write that down. I will do this after. I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to do it right after the live. We have an appointment for Buttercup. That's why I had to go earlier today on this one. But I will do it today. it will be out in YouTube underneath the playlist, so that like if you wanted to in the early evening or whatever, it will be out there by then. Okay. All right. So one of the things I am going to tell you, Kelly, about wood burning on hats and journals. I don't know about your area, but this is what I will say. I think they're both really great ideas. And the reason why I say that is we have a lady here in South Dakota. She lives in Sioux Falls, that for 3 years now, she has been burning on the leather hats, different things. She doesn't make two alike. She does them in limited quantities. So like when she has the feeling to do them, she makes them. She puts them into a consignment shop that she has. She used to be in 30 different consignment shops, and her time was spent either packaging things up to mail there, and then they would mail back what wasn't being sent or being sold. But then she finally just went locally for one consignment shop because it was easier for her to keep up on one shop and tell people, I don't do a whole lot of vendor events anymore. So if you want this outside of the vendor events that I do, go here. So she's created what I'm going to say, the FOMO effect. It's the fear of missing out. You're going to miss out on one of her hats if you don't go to this location and get it, or go to one of her 2 events that she does a year now. She used to do she didn't do a lot. She would do 5 a year, and she's down to 2. And then she's down to 2 because of the cost and the time and the energy to do all of those shows. But let me tell you, she may only do 100 hats a year, but she sells those 100 hats a year because she has created that FOMO effect when she is marketing it on her social medias. And we have talked about, just because it's on a website or Etsy or at a show, you're not creating the connection with people, and you're not creating the experience for that person. And that's one thing we also are going to probably be talking more about as we're going through more. We've talked about the connection and the experience. So for these individuals, their experience is, if I don't buy one of her hats at one location or these 2 events, I might be able to go online and have it shipped to me. But she doesn't ship her hats very often because of the cost involved of shipping them. So it's going to be, for her hats are more local, but people don't want to miss out on them. So I wanted to tell you about her marketing. Can you do that in your area? That's why I'm explaining hers. You're in a completely different state, so that's why I would be okay. Normally I wouldn't share others' marketing, but that's what she does. Now, when you talk about the leather journals, I have not seen the leather journals in South Dakota. It is an item that you can get and do nationwide because those could sell. But there is a person here on TikTok. I cannot tell you her name for the life of me. She shows up on my For You page. I don't follow her, but when she shows up on my For You page, I go back and watch her videos from the last time I watched her videos. She is actually someone that does the journals. Hi, Adriana. So what hers is that she's found and she used to do the craft events, like what I would do, which is I would do them in the church, or I would do them for, a club that's having a volunteer, or not a volunteer, they have a fundraiser, so they're doing it. So I'm just thinking of one where my aunt and uncle live. Their women's group needed to do a fundraiser so that they could do their women's group activities all year long that they do to support the community. So that is a fundraiser for them to get money to go, and they will do on certain games for the high school kids. They may have a meal provided to them instead of the moms providing it. You know, that type of thing. So she did hers, and her thing is that she made the paper for her journals, and she actually now uses a laser to do the engraving on the leather journals. And so they could be anything. And she was very big into, this lady is very big into budgeting and saving. So she would create the budget journals, and she would also create the savings envelope journals and title them. She would get different color leather. She gets different color leather and put it out there. She did that for a few years. Then she found in her area where she lives in the United States, they have lots of like the Renaissance age period. They have the Renaissance festivals. So she has actually started traveling and going to these shows on the weekends. They're like 2 or 3 day shows over the weekend, and she travels to them, and she is selling them in the Renaissance period style of letters and different types of journals around, and making it to fit the theme of where she's selling at. She just did 16 days, which was 8 weekends at one of the Renaissance festivals here in the United States. So it was a long one. And her goal was to make in those 8 weekends, so you got 2 days, she wanted to make $40,000. She puts it out there each day of those. So, you know, in a weekend, her goal was 5,000. On Saturday, it might be 3,500, and on Sunday it might be, you know, 2,000 or whatever it was to set up. She was she was a few $100s away from her, and she calls it her Delulu goal. That's like her big stretch goal. And she was a couple $100 away from meeting that. She didn't hit it, but she was at like 39,700 and something. So think about that. She changed her entire marketing around what she was selling. She ended up traveling more. She does have more expenses for it, but she is a very big planner about expenses, and she put that into the price of her products. Hey, Melissa. So what I'm saying is we always have to adapt to change and see what will work. And so that's why I'm sharing those two with you, is what can you do to change up what you're marketing? What do you want to change? Because do you want to travel every weekend like she does? Or do you want to be at home and closer to home and maybe do it online and figure out how to market it online? But that shouldn't stop you. You've got to just figure out and take the baby steps to get your plan. Create your thoughts of what your product will be. Where can I sell it? How do I want to sell it? How am I going to market it? How am I going to connect with the person that wants it? Don't let all of those questions overwhelm you. They are scary, just like our quote said. But if you take them in baby steps and do one thing every day. So in this whole entire thing about what I talked about in giving you options, think of one question you can ask yourself every day to research or to do to get me there. How can I spend an hour a day getting to the end goal? And don't stop because it's too much. Break it down. I know. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Thank you, Melissa, for the heart me. So for those of you that don't know, I have created a video last week on Tip Tuesday. I talked a lot more about it, but it was about looking for the red flags when you guys get those messages or the emails or whatever it is that, hey, and it's a scam. And it's just devastating to be caught up in those. So people have been commenting on those videos. Teresa actually had 4 of them in 1 week. It sucks. And that's why we're devoting an entire hour tonight to that. It happens to all of us. And we have to decide where is, and I know this is going to sound really weird, where's our breaking point and where's our revenge point? Where is I'm taking back my power point, my power at? And I know those are going to sound really weird, but for Teresa, like she said, 4, she's excited. She's going to get sales because she hasn't had an online sale yet. And then she finds out all 4 are scams. That sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry. I like when you said that, I was like, my heart went out for her. That's where here as a community, how can we uplift each other? The one thing that I want to say is that some people fall for those scams. We're not going to hear you say, I fell for it, because you're embarrassed. What I would love to have happen is that if you have these scams happening, we can all learn from each other. You don't have to tell us anything about it other than, here's a scam I had this week. Because how the scams come keep changing. Yep. And so putting it out there for all of us to go to Griselda and go, this was her scam that she received. It doesn't mean you have to tell us like, I sent the order out or whatever. Or one person, their scam was that they were going to send her money, but she needed to send some of it back because they can't stop it from sending too much. We need to learn the red flags. We need to share those flags. We need to keep everybody in the know so that we can help each other out and help this community out. And that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about tonight. But the thing that I want to take away that Teresa, she learned, she had them all. And that's what I'm excited. She learned that, you know what, they are. Yep. And they want you to download. And the thing that we'll talk about is like Zelle, Cash App, and Venmo. We're going to talk about those 3 also. Those 3 together. And I will tell you like how it's changed from the past and how things get changed to help us out for the future, but it's still too late sometimes. Thank you, Joyous255, for the follow. So that, and don't think it just happens to us because we're online. It happens to people all the time. If you're looking for a job, they have scams for you. If you're someone that has, you don't even have to be what I would consider elderly. I have a grandchild. I will tell you, I don't feel old yet. There are things that make me feel old, but I don't say I'm old yet. And I could be scammed because I have a grandchild. I have to watch out for my own father for scams because he is not savvy in what he does. And we can't get him to stop doing things. And we're like, Dad. But that's what we're here for, is like, how can we help each other out? Even though I go to my dad and I'm like, that's what we want to be there for, is to help each other out through life, in our businesses, in our crafting, in life. So that's why I really hope tonight's live will help us out. Hi there, Glitter Temptations. Thank you for the follow. I think I'm going to hit because you guys are following today. Yep. So Rocky's Creations is talking about her parents. Hi, Rainbow. Tonight is it is another chat time, but I have already put our topic out and we're going to spend an entire day, or an entire hour on that topic. Yep, see, that's some of the things years ago that was going on. Yep, and so our cards and all of those are helping us out. Yep, hundreds. Oh, see, and that's what we will talk about, a lot of that. So we're going to talk about how to prevent frauds. Hi, Geraldine. And I put it on our schedule, and I put it down as that we're talking about a discussion on fraud and on scams. Yep. And I can tell you one of the things, because, and I know this can sound weird, I have worked in the financial institution. I started at working at an actual bank. And that was in 2001. Holy buckets. I've been in the financial institution more. I was like 20 years. Nope. 2001. 24 years ago. And that's the thing. What Angela is saying about is about doing research. And that's part of what we're going to talk about little things that you guys can do. Oh my. That is really stinky, because there are checks and balances doing that. And I will tell you guys about stories that have happened to me that I can share. There are some things that I can't share because of that. So fraud is becoming more and more prevalent. And it was funny because I was talking with someone about some of the things that they're dealing with as a business that is local, and they have a brick and mortar and that type of thing. And they were talking about what was happening with them. And I'm like, my background is here. And we just started talking about it. And they asked the question, why is fraud on the, or they go, I think fraud is on the rise because of our economy. Nope, it's not our economy. Fraud has been there through recessions. It has been there before recessions. It has been there when we are making the most money. It is about, people want to do this as a way to make money. It is their job. Just like my job is selling beads. There's more to it than just selling the beads, but it's my job. That's their job. So those are things that we're going to talk about, ways that they can do it. Most of it is going to be like online fraud. We're talking about your bank cards. There are differences by the type of accounts you set up at a bank as to what regulations protect you. So, and those are the types of things that I want to talk about, is what are some of the things that are happening, how to do your own investigation. When is it time to bring it to the group and go, am I feeling okay with this? You don't have to make a decision on something right away. You don't have to, they're going to pressure you to get you to transfer that money to them. We're going to talk about slow down, investigate, bring it to the group. You guys know I have chats twice a week. You guys know we have an online media where we can post a video asking a question, tagging people here in the group, asking for their opinions. There are Discord groups out there where we can talk about it too. You just have to get on a Discord server of people that you create as your own. You can create your own Discord server where, if you don't want to post it online, let's post it over here. How do you create canned responses to those messages as a way to find out if it's fraud? How you set up your accounts at your financial institution to protect yourself. What can you do to set limits on things to protect yourself? So those are the things that we will talk about tonight. It is going to be, I'm calling it a discussion, but I'm using it as one of our chat times. It is, I almost made this as a tutorial for the week, and then I'm like, no, it's more of a discussion. I'm going to just reuse one of our chat times to talk about it. And I know we've spent a lot of time talking about what our plans or what we're going to talk about tonight is. It is at 8 p.m. Central. And the reason why I wanted to do it tonight and give all the information out tonight is that I was thinking that we would have more individuals being able to join us at night if you have a full-time job and couldn't come over a lunch hour. Yes, I know we can watch it on the replay, but to me, this is a hot topic that is happening more and more that I really wanted to have a very big presence when we talk about it tonight, meaning that you guys have a chance to join. Yes, you guys can rewatch it because there's going to be a lot of information at you, but it will also be a way for you to hear it and then rewatch it, because this is something that maybe watching it 2 or 3 times will help you understand what you need to do. Ah, darn it. But you can always rewatch it. Do know that, Kelly. Bowling is fun. You have to understand, bowling was in our lives for many, many years. I grew up bowling until I got into high school, and I was in activities that I couldn't bowl when they did the kids leagues. They always did that on Saturday mornings, and then when you're in high school, everything's happening on Saturdays, so I wasn't able to do that. But then when I went into college, I started being a sub bowler in up in the Twin Cities where I went to college, and I got to know a lot of people up there that way. And then when we I came back, had kids, one of my kids bowled um the high school league, the like, it wasn't traveling at all, but what it is that you were your own individual. It wasn't a team event. You were your own individual where you could qualify for national events. So they had local events and then you could qualify for national events. And one of our kids qualified for the national event. So we've done all of that. Oh boy, you are on a lot. Yep. You have to do the tournaments and figure out all the tournaments. Aw, that's a memory that you can't take away there, Teresa. I love it. So we've done high school, the tournaments for the youth that will then qualify you for. So I was gonna say, Kelly, you'll know what I'm saying when I say junior gold. We've done the junior gold tournaments locally, but the local ones were actually not always junior gold qualifiers. It was just a local way to get yourself out there. We've been at it was at even some of these events, we've seen colleges come and recruit kids. And then when you go to the junior gold tournament, you see people being recruited left and right for college. Whole new world. I didn't know it. I just thought it was a fun activity to keep you active. When we got into all of that, I was like, holy wow. And then my child went to a college that is a very big bowling college. And so when they said they were going to that college to these group of kids when we were at these tournaments, they all stopped and they're like, "Are you going to bowl?" And they're like, "I'm not going for bowling. I'm actually going for an education, but I'll see if I can get on the team." Did not make, they made the I got to think of what it's called, the development team. And then they just decided, no, college, I want to focus on college instead of on bowling. So they gave up bowling at that point. So yes, it is a big deal. And let me tell you, my kid had like a 195 to right at 200 average, and it wasn't high enough to get on this bowling team. You had to have a 215 was the lowest. 225 and above got you on the team. Let me tell you, that's hard. Sorry, I digressed about bowling. Once I saw that, I'm like, oh, that was our life. We don't have a kid that bowls anymore. And our bowling alley in our town has closed down, so don't know. And they don't do the high school bowling for our school anymore. They do it for some other schools, but not ours. The coach ended up stopped doing it when their kids were done with high school. So I don't know what's going to happen when Buttercup gets that age. Yep. It is. It is sad. There are a lot that are closing, and it just comes down to finances. All right. I know we spent a lot of time looking at different, with you guys commenting on the different ways that you guys have had fraud. Please bring those to tonight, I want to say. But I want to go back to what else is scary for you? Does anybody else have anything that they want to add about what is scary? And I know we spent a lot of time talking about people. I love it, Teresa. Talking to people when you're an introvert is hard. And I will tell you from personal experience, you guys might not know this. It is that I am an introvert. You guys probably don't think it, but I really am an introvert. Going and doing the shows is hard. And it helped me out because the first show I did, I got to think about this. My first show I did, my sister came with me. It helped because we could go off of each other's energy to talk to people. My sister doesn't leave her house hardly ever. So for her to come to the show and she could do that, is extremely difficult. So sometimes it is bringing someone along with you to help you get over what I'm going to say, that initial hump of talking to people. I know when I bring people with me, I'm not talking with them. And it was funny because when I said about the show that happens in my aunt and uncle's town, my aunt would come with me. And she would just sit back, and during the slow times, her and I would talk. But she knew that when it was busy time, meaning there was people around, I was up talking to people. But I had her come to my show, and she's like, I don't help you out. I just sit here and talk to people from the town. And I said, but you don't realize that's the help I need. They stopped in my booth because they knew my aunt and uncle, because my uncle would come and hang out with us too. And they would talk with her, and she'd be like, well, my husband's niece, because that's how we're related, is that my uncle is my dad's brother. She would be like, this is my husband's niece, and I'm just sitting here with her. That is something that if you're going to a town that you know somebody in, have them come with and see if they can help you. And they might get you a couple people, but they will be talking if they're another person that talks, and that can help you out. I mean, it's something so simple as that. I loved it when I had people help come with me, whether it was my sister, or anybody in my family, my kids, a friend. I had a couple of my friends come and just help me. That little bit made it worthwhile. So that's one thing I would suggest about when you have to be in person. Yep, and that's where I was talking about. I just saw Melissa's. It's hard to talk to him in person. Yep, that's talking to your booth neighbors. Something that happens to me when I talk to my booth neighbors is sometimes I get a booth neighbor that is so talkative, they want to talk to you and not to the people. So you got to watch that one a little bit. Yep, Rosie's got the two people, her oldest nephews. They help her, and they're extroverts. That helps. And Griselda says going to a market and not selling anything. Very rarely did I ever go to a show and not sell. I don't even think I ever went to a show and didn't sell something. And it has to go back to connecting with the people and talking with the people. And if you need someone there to help you with the talking, have them come with you. And literally, those things are part of how you can get people to connect with you and come in and talk, sell. I've had a couple of shows where I just got my booth feedback. I can say in 20 some years of doing a show, I've never had a show where I didn't get my booth feedback. But you got to think about more than just your booth fee. And I know this is going to scare you when you think about it, but this is where you have to stop and pause. You have booth fee. You have the cost of the products that you bought to make it. You have your time. You have your time of setting up. You have the time of travel. You have the expense of the travel to get you there. Because even if it's not that you're spending the night when I say travel, if you're going 5 miles down the road, you have 5 miles of gas to get there and 5 miles of gas to get home. Don't think that that's what we're talking about here, Melissa, is that what is scary to get you over the hump. And yours is feeling like you are not ready is your scary point. You have two people in your court that is saying, go do it. So can one of them help you load up your car and help you set up and be your cheerleader while you're at that event? Griselda says she's scared about getting scammed at markets or when selling in person. The scams of in person are going to be lower than it is than over online. You're going to get scammed more online than you will in person. So don't worry about that as much, Griselda, okay? Just to let you know. Yep, I love that, Rosie. I just saw Rosie's response to Griselda that sometimes it's just the market. Do a research on where you're going to be setting up at. Is it a good neighborhood? Is it a bad neighborhood? What are the demographics and what is and I know we're talking about, larger cities, you have different demographics of where you would set up. But like for me, being in South Dakota, there's a lot of different small towns. I would go and talk with people in that small town, like I'm just going to say in Canton, they have a group that runs the town that I can call them up and be like, okay, what is the economics of your town right now? Hold on, I got a little one raising her hand. What, Buttercup?
What are these for?
When I went in because of my back pain and they put the IV in for the medicine, they got yucky, I don't want to say the word here. On my arm, and they used those to wipe it off, and they would throw those all away. So I said I want to keep them because we can use them to clean the silicone beads.
Oh no, I'm gonna use them to clean my hands.
Okay, you can use one to clean your hands, but don't use them all up just willy-nilly, okay? Sorry. Buttercup was asking me why I have some baby wipes in the room. That's the one thing that, Kelly's got in here. She's had one that was a no sale show. It was in an event space, advertisement, barely anyone had a sale. You're going to have those shows where you're not going to have a sale. You know what I do at those? You guys can laugh at me. I sell to the other vendors. I don't always buy from the other vendors, but I try to get other vendors to buy from me to make up my sales.
Why?
Because then I got my money back. And I know that sounds so mean to say, but where we were talking about...
And then they can sell your jewelry.
Well, no, they don't sell my jewelry. They can wear it. And
no,
then
they can sell it.
And then when they're at my event or an event that I'm at, they're like, oh, I got it from her.
No, they can be like, oh yeah, you want this? It's $800.
$800? No. So, it's just, those are the things. And it's so funny because I am very... And it was known in my area, I didn't purchase from a lot of vendors. When I first started, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to purchase. Well, then when you go to so many shows, you don't purchase. And so, people would be like, do you want to trade and that type of thing? And I had standard canned responses for it. And it was, I have to find something that I can bring into my house that I'm going to use or want. I have made decisions to clutter-free my house. Oh. And people would be like, oh, and then that made them think about how could they sell to me?
She still has a lot of clutter. Oh. Can I show them how I make my butterflies?
Not right now, honey. We're getting to the ends of this one because we've got to go to your appointment.
But it's at 1, so that means if I do it right now, then we'll still have time.
I still have things I have to get done before we go.
Yeah, so can I just hurry?
No, I will make time next week for you, okay?
Next week, woman.
Okay. All right. And the thing is that I think we have another discussion topic based upon what we're talking about here, and that is how do you decide what shows to go to? And the reason being is that there's a lot of information. She starts tomorrow morning.
Unfortunately.
How to decide
I have an idea.
shows to participate
Look at
in tutorial.
the butterfly is gonna glort in.
Okay. I'm loving this. I'm going to look and see more comments here. We are at our hour, but I want to make sure. Yep. And the thing is that that's the thing. Rosie, you have got it there, getting other people. Yep. And Cindy says you got to make sure that you're advertising. Don't rely on your organizers of the event to do it. So I was always doing things, and this is where we're going to talk about this and that. I was doing things of posting things, of talking to people, to get friends and family and my followers to come.
Would buy like 80 things from you.
Huh?
I feel like Nana would buy like 80 things from you.
Oh, Nana she is one of my actual best customer of jewelry is my husband's cousin's wife.
No, it's actually me, guys.
You don't pay for it. You just take it.
Exactly. I get more jewelry than anybody does.
My best person.
Who's that? Tony don't buy crap.
It's his mom.
That's not his cousin. You said cousin.
Well, Tim is his cousin too, which is her husband.
Nana's...
Not Nana. Hold on. I got to explain this to her. Tony's Opa's cousin, like one generation down.
Oh,
Tim is Opa's cousin because of being Tony's dad. His wife, Jean.
You're saying too much. Isn't that one girl that can't eat cookies?
No.
So it's not Tony's parents?
Oh, yes, it is. Yes. I forgot it was she couldn't have the cookies. I was thinking someone else. She, of all things, this is, Griselda talked about she could be an advertiser of my business at her school. One of my oldest daughter, her mom, would wear rings because those are one of the things that she could wear of mine because she has such a high allergy to different metals, but the rings she could wear. Do you know how many rings I sold to her friends? So Rosie's got it.
Oh, did you tell any to... Did you tell anything?
What? That?
Did you tell anything to Auntie Tay-Tay?
I don't remember.
I feel like...
I probably did.
Yeah. Wait. Remember Uncle Wayway?
Uncle Wayway, yes. Yep, you've got it. You guys have some great ideas. I'm taking these. I'm not going to see all the comments, so we're going to have to remember them. But we have got some great tips here today that you could take away. And how many, what there, Miss Griselda? But we can take these and you can start utilizing some of these right away. Some of these tips that we talked about when you go to in-person shows. But I will bring into how to decide what in-person shows you're going to do. We've got some great things. Oh, how many did I sell? Oh, it went on for years. I sold those rings because they would get different ones. Because, you know, I've sold jewelry for 20 years now.
My mommy's 29.
19 years. 19 years I've been selling jewelry.
You always told me that I've been doing jewelry for 20 years. You tell everybody that.
I've been making jewelry for 20 years. I've been selling jewelry for 19.
Can you hand me that one glue?
And what I will say is the rings are something that can be changed out at a low cost every season. And every school year, the girls would buy different rings. So it wasn't just like one time and we're done. This would be years of building this up. And that's what you need to do. And that's where you've connected with someone and they're a repeat purchaser.
Like these people who buy too much.
And then you change it out for the next year. I would sell these rings. I don't know what I would sell them at in today's prices because I haven't had an in-person show in 2 years.
Sheesh.
But I did them for $3 each or 2 for $5. Well, the kids would be like, $3, here it is. They never thought about if I put another 2 in. The kids that we were selling to at the school would just, $3, here it is, I'll take that ring. That was it. But when you go to shows, every show, I would have some of the same people come back for season to season, and they would buy 2 to 4 rings. Yes, it's only $5 or $10, but they were doing $5 or $10. The one show that I'm thinking of, I did it twice a year. So that equals out to $10 to $20. But if you have 50 people coming for just that ring, and you only sold them 2, that's $500 from that, for those people. But they bought other jewelry. And let me tell you, very rarely did I sell 1 or 2 rings. It was 4 rings or 8 rings. And they would come every year for that many rings.
Mom's friends?
No, these are at the shows. Her friends were
what?
$1 1 ring a piece.
Can you put this back on? But guess what?
I need that to put that back on.
No, wait,
So that's where you got to create a connection, letting people know where you're going to be at so that they can come to you. I've had people that go to one show and they will come to a small show because you've got their connection. So we're going to talk about how to find the show so you can build the connections and that.
We can't really talk about that. It's already an hour.
I know we can't talk about it today, but we're going to bring it in. I am excited about these topics for you guys, okay?
Anyways,
Can you tell my excitement here? What?
What? Did you know that Auntie Tata has a girl now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. I do have to hop off because we do have to go to an appointment for Buttercup today. And I need to have lunch before we leave the house to do that. So I got to go have a quick lunch. You guys have given me lots of ideas of us to talk about to help you guys grow. And that's what I want to take away. I'm just so excited, everybody. Sorry. I love these chat times. All right, everybody. We will be back 8 p.m. tonight where we're going to talk about, both on YouTube and on TikTok, about how you can look and find out if you're being in a fraud thing or a scam. So come back and we will talk to you all in just a little bit at 8 p.m. tonight Central. See you then. Bye, everybody.
Nora's eating lunch right now.
Oh, she is.